And your sign says prison camp with a line through it, bad model for Santa Cruz. And of course you're standing in front of the 1220 River Street. And there's a sort of a small gang of us here from the California Homeless Union. I see Wes White from Salinas.
I will take away my prison camp signs when they have allowed people the ability to walk in and out unregulated.
Well, of course, that's one of the, I think, 8 or 9 demands that we
That's the demand I think is the most important.
Hi, how you doing, Red?
I mean, other than showers.
How's everything going inside? Good, good.
Hey, Rosemary, how are you?
Yeah, I'll give you a flyer if you want.
Okay.
Let me get the flyers. I'll be back.
Are you on the camp council here? Do you want to be, or you didn't want to? Have there been improvements?
Yes, I have.
We're trying to force like faster improvements, like showers. They could get you guys a truck though, or something, or give you guys a motel voucher once a week, so you could go take a shower at a motel. There are a lot of solutions. I don't feel like they're doing them fast enough, and they're allowing people to suffer.
Have a sign, or you got a tripod. I don't know.
I do well, but at least this sign is small. The shelter is full. Right, you need another 50 programs going on. Maybe some diversity of acceptance.
Thank you.
So, let me whip out my little machine to interview with me.
And I hope we're not making you uncomfortable.
So we're talking with
Rosemary.
We're talking with Rosemary here. We're talking through the fence. And Rosemary, how long have you been here now? Can you move a little closer so I can get you?
Feels like a
Since
jail
it
visit.
opened?
And that's been since May.
Yes.
How have conditions been here for you?
And should be pointed out.
Slowly but surely, but everything's getting a little bit better than it was when I first came through.
To jail, like a jail visit.
And the conditions are the same, can't, whatever, but the way that they treat it is a little bit different.
So how have things improved?
Oh, the transportation, you can walk off and you can walk off. Before you could go get on the shuttle, you could come back walking. Now you can't.
Mama!
So that's, to me, that's more freedom where I can go and come. But I still have to be here when the shuttle's here, But to come in with it, but leaving, I can leave.
Now, is that special for you, or is that something anybody can do?
Anybody.
So that's good. Is that a change in the official policy, or is that just Eric being liberal?
I do not know. I asked if I could leave one day.
And what about coming back at night, like for curfews and things of that sort?
Oh, I don't know. I'm always here before curfew. I never have stayed out, without, over the 9 o'clock curfew. So I really don't know.
So if you wanted to, you could walk out right now.
Yes.
If you want to, feel free to do that, but that way I won't have to hold it.
Oh, I know, but I'm doing something I can't right now. I just saw you. And
No, I appreciate that. And,
yeah.
I guess the other question is, how there was some heat about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Things got pretty hot in the weather. How's your tent as far as the weather goes?
It gets real hot. That's why, a lot of people leave to the park and stuff like that. I mean, a tent is a tent. It's going to get hot.
And how's the shower situation?
There's still no showers, but what gets me is you guys should be protesting over there at HB, over there by the shelter, 15-minute showers. That's ridiculous.
So how many showers, forgive me for asking, would you estimate you've had in the last 4 months?
I usually don't go to the shelter for the showers because of the scabies and outbreak. There's a lot of scabies. So what I do is take bird baths.
And is it a secret, or do you want to tell us where these bird baths?
In my tent.
In your tent?
In my tent.
And it's kind of like what, you have some water and you wash yourself off?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the space in the tent? How does that do for you? Is it enough? Is it?
Yes,
It is enough.
It's a three-man tent. It's big enough.
That's good. And how's the condition at night? Or is it quiet enough so you can get some sleep?
It's the people that are here. Some days are better than others. Some days are quiet. Some days are just like somebody will set somebody else off and they'll be arguing and stuff like that. It's just the same thing like a Ross camp. It's the same thing.
Have you had any visitors, and how has that gone?
Oh, my daughter comes and I go with her. I don't see them come in.
There's the pen.
So one of the things we're asking for, because this should be true in any camp, particularly one funded by the city, that people, and by the county, that people should be able to have visitors in their tent if they want. What's your sense about that?
I think they should. If they're going to visit you, you can.
I never asked
I
that
feel
question.
that
You
you
have
can
pets.
go wherever you think you can go. And the limit time for visit is 30 minutes.
See a dog.
So,
No kids.
do children visit the camp?
I have not seen a child here.
How about animals, pets? What happens with them?
They're my animals out there. They're welcome.
That's good. And so,
But the rules are when you do have a pet, you have to be with your pet or have somebody watching your pet when you're not there.
now, is there a camp council yet, so that if you want to make a complaint or have a concern, you can talk to somebody who also lives in the tent?
I had a concern about my daughter being banned and I've seen
Eddie and
things go,
Angel.
like people getting leeway. They come, they're telling them off and they're back in the camp. I got pissed because my daughter's never come back. I asked Eric Rose that he would have to speak to somebody higher than himself. So he told me the news that no, they didn't want, they were scared of my daughter.
And did your daughter actually physically assault anyone?
No, verbally.
And was it a threat of violence?
That I do not know it wasn't.
And how long ago did this incident happen?
About 2 weeks ago. The camp was open.
Oh yeah.
That's what I want. That thing right there.
And
Oh my God, we're getting close to
so Eric told you, because he told us that he had the power to make these decisions. So maybe that's changed. Maybe the new commander or Captain Marcos has different authority, or maybe he was only true in some cases. But has he taken your case to higher ups to ask that it be changed?
That's what he said that he was going to do
2 weeks ago.
about 2 weeks ago when I asked him
Stay inside, don't
So,
come out.
so is there a camp council which you can join if you wish?
about it. I have not heard of a council, but I'm not sure either because I don't hang around here.
How's the water situation for drinking?
It's the same. You still have to get the tap water.
How is it?
It's like
Plastic.
You have no complaints?
no. I just bathe in it.
But you don't drink it?
So
You don't drink it. I see. I think that almost covers the issues that we were raising. Let me take a look here. How many new people that you know of have arrived in the last, month in August,
yeah, it's going to switch around. People think that's a bad way. And some just leave it during the nighttime, and before you know it, there's somebody else in it. It's just as they leave, someone comes in and takes their place. It's been like this set right here is new from the time that you guys came. We're pretty new.
So, I was told by Eric that there isn't a lot of change, that the number of vacancies that happens here is, 4 or 5 a month generally. Is that,
Yeah.
that's your experience?
I would say so.
Yeah.
4 or 5 a month.
And,
Get inside the car so you don't fall out. Eric, go. Find him so you don't fall out of me.
what would you like to see improved or changed here that you would want to bring to the attention of Eric or Captain Marcos or the camp council?
I've already done what I wanted them to
Kill
do,
me right
and
now.
my answer was
I'm
no,
melting.
and I'm just going to leave it at that. I will not ask them another thing.
This was the concern about your daughter.
Yes.
I gotcha.
Ask them for nothing. I am so pissed because I see people, and I'm not lying, can tell them, call them names and whatever, and they don't do nothing. But when my daughter explode, she had a bad day or whatever, she can't have a bad day, but everybody, the staff can have a bad day.
Now, do you feel the staff has privileges that the camp people don't have? In other words, are they sort of on a different level than the folks in the camp?
They
Or
think they are. They think they are, but they're not.
do they act in that way?
Some of them do, and some of them don't.
So, is there any change you'd like to see if you were able to design a different camp? What would you do?
I would have people live like
It's a good one.
without, I don't know, more freedom. We're limited. I know there has to be rules everywhere you go. I know that, you know, but some rules
I'm grateful
are
for some of the
not just for a camp. You know, that's what I feel.
Okay.
Like being here at 9 o'clock. We're not children, we're adults. The only reason you can come through the gate, you know, like after 9 if you're working, which makes sense. But still, we're not children. 9 o'clock curfew. 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds. I'm a senior. I don't go for no curfew, you know. I think I live long enough to do what I want to do, you know.
When you were before you came to this camp, where were you living?
At the Ross camp.
And how did that compare with this in terms of rules?
It was more of a family. There was fights in families all the time, but there everybody stood together. If somebody needed help, they would help one way or another. Here, everybody's in the world. We really can't. I really do.
Now, was there more connection with the community in the Ross camp than here?
Yes, there's people coming every day, you know, talking to us, seeing how we are. Yeah, there's more communication with the community. So.
And how are people how often do you leave the camp here?
Every day.
And how are you treated downtown?
I don't.
I mean, do you notice any difference?
No, I haven't.
So you've been treated okay?
Yeah,
It's good.
except the Rangers.
Tell me about the Rangers.
I got a ticket pushing my. I have a back problem, and I push my dog in a stroller. And these Rangers are always, I say, like a lookout for me or my daughter to give us tickets. I have to go to court on a ticket of not having my dog in a leash. Going to the restroom on the levee.
Really?
Yeah, that's how ridiculous it is.
The name of your criminal dog is?
Panda.
Panda. And do you want to say who your name is for us?
Rosemary. My whole name?
Yeah, if you want.
Rosemary Flores.
And Rosemary, are you a part of the Ross Camp lawsuit?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And are other people who are part of the Ross Camp still in camp here?
Some are and some aren't.
Is there much communication between campers in terms of either support or friction, for that matter?
Say it one more time.
In other words, do you have much connection with other people in the camp? Do you form relationships?
Yeah, I have friends that I didn't have at the Ross camp, you know, that they weren't at the Ross camp. I don't know where they came from, but I have friends here, you know, that they look out for each other and stuff like that. But it's not like the Ross camp. I feel the Ross camp was more it was freedom, actually, to do, go, come, you know, and here it's limited, 9 o'clock curfew. That's what.
What about the nature of the connections with the people here? Is it different than at the Ross camp?
Oh yeah.
And better or worse, or just different? Or?
Just different backgrounds, you know. Some of these people are hard workers at Ross camp. It wasn't. They were. I don't know. I got to know as the Ross camp closed. People would say hi, and I don't remember they're from the Ross camp, but there were so many at the Ross camp. But
How about at the Ross camp? How secure was your stuff compared to say here?
it's the same. Once a Steve, they say always a Steve.
So you've had stuff stolen here?
A lot of people have. I haven't.
Uh-huh.
Personally haven't. My tent's right in the front. Ones way in the back have had their stuff, some of this stuff stolen.
Do you have access to a phone yourself?
No, I do not.
And do you have any friends who have access to phones?
I have friends that have phones.
I mean, if you need to make a phone call, is there someone you can go to make a phone call?
Yes.
Okay, so if you want, and if that person is acceptable, have her give me her or his phone number, and I will at some point contact you and let you know where this is all going out. It's probably going out tonight on free radio.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yes, that's fine.
Wes, do you have any questions you want to ask? This is Wes from Salinas.
No. Not really. Like last time, we really wasn't getting much fun. I worked out. The only thing I'm happy about is
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The only thing I'm happy about is going to be stay open till March, maybe. They don't know yet, They say yes, and they say no. It's living up in the air right now.
Dig it.
Do you know anybody who wishes they could be in the camp, or in the waiting list right now, or wish there was more?
I know this girl that stays at the camp. She has 2 dogs, and her name is Christina. She wants to come in. She's a woman by herself out there, so she asked me if I could put her on her list. But I found out you don't put yourself on the list here. You have to go all the way to Laurel, Salvation Army to put yourself on the list. Or at the library, certain days, certain day. I'm not sure of the dates, the day or the time.
Interesting. You might talk with Eric about that. He's here, right? Well, he was a moment ago. Maybe he's.
Is Eric here? Yeah.
So I'm running out of questions, but maybe you can question me if you want. I don't know.
No, I have nothing. I just wanted to. I haven't seen you guys in a while, and I'm happy to see you guys still here.
Do you want to talk to Alicia of the Homeless Union? I mean, she talked to you last time, I think. I'm not sure.
I don't even know who she is.
Let me see if she's. Hey, Alicia. You want to talk to
Rosemary.
Rosemary. It is Rosemary. Did you want to talk to Rosemary?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Any questions?
No, I asked her a couple questions in the beginning. Mostly the same things that you asked already, though.
Okay. You may be able to get phone access if for some reason you want to talk to. She's with the California Homeless Union, which is supposed to protect the rights of people in these camps, but we're just beginning, and we'll see how far we get with that stuff.
Okay.
But your information is helpful because it kind of keeps us up to date as to what's happening.
Okay.
The other gentleman that just came in said he doesn't feel like he's in prison, but I'm imagining that's because he's a proud bike owner and he's allowed to come and go.
How many people actually have bikes here?
I'd say about 6 or 7 people.
Uh-huh.
Out of 60.
Out about 61 people or something?
I don't know how many are here. I don't really know. I don't.
Because if I didn't own a bike and I lived here, I would not feel free. I'd feel trapped and waiting for that shuttle.
But Rosemary said that she was allowed to come and go. That's correct?
I'm allowed to go when the shuttle goes. And
Is that like a special permission? Because that goes against the general policy, right?
Are you allowed to walk out if you want?
Yes, I am. With certain staff, how can I put it? Because the next staff wouldn't do that.
So it depends on the staff's feeling.
Yeah.
No, not the staff.
The favoritism, like certain staff believe in rights and
Yes.
certain staff don't.
Have to go by the
Well, there are rules, Alicia.
Well, certain staff believe, obviously, if certain staff are openly violating the rules, they don't believe that the rules are
Fair.
dignified, and so they're willing to break them. What does that say?
It says those staff should be fired immediately.
No,
And put in
it
decent,
says
sterner
that
staff.
the rules need need to be revamped with dignity and compassion in mind so that everybody feels comfortable with enforcing them equally.
We need liberals, what you are.
Whatever.
And, hey, Rosemary, thank you. Anything you want to add here?
No, there's nothing. But like I said, I'm happy to see you guys.
And I'm glad you're talking to us.
You're welcome.
Okay. Again, if you want a copy of this, let me know, and I'll get it to you if you have any way of playing. I don't know if you got a...
No, I don't.
But it'll be archived, so if you ever get to a computer and you talk to me about it, I can show you where to do it, where to hear it. So. Thank you very much. I'd shake your hand, but there's a fence in the way. All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
That's what they want you to think. It's not liability. It's so that they can keep you contained. Yeah. So that they can control the city. It is true. It really is true.
And I believe it because in jail they won't do it either.
This is not jail.
Different kind of jail.
But are you a criminal in jail right now?
Dallas, this road is jail. What were the people at midnight because if somebody got hit on the freeway at night?
I feel uncomfortable comparing this to jail.
Absolutely.
That's the problem.
Some guy got nailed right here. Fine.
Well, you can get hit anywhere already.
Here, you want to hold it for a while?
That doesn't mean you shouldn't have the right to come and go. If you were in your own apartment, you'd have the right to come and go, right?
I like your side.
So it's now about 35 minutes to 11.
I hear what
We
you're
have
saying.
an elder gentleman.
Well, it's not.
The oldest.
Old fogey
The
guy.
senior of
We're
this
hoping
group.
for some
The
improvement.
senior man,
Especially
with
in
his
the
young
freedom
pooch.
and rights
I'm not sure how young that pooch is.
She's 6.
It's not that young.
I'm not saying it's horrible. We're grateful, but we need some
Why are
improvement.
you having an attorney appointment?
Well, basically, I'm holding a sign that says we're grateful to the Salvation Army for what they do, but they must be doing a lot more to alleviate the suffering that occurs here, especially and including the fact that
And they have kicked other people out for doing
the residents are not really free to come and go. They have to schedule leaves. They can't just walk out and come back, which, for example, inhibits the possibility of having a job. So if someone has a job at McDonald's and they have to, and they get off work at 6 a.m., they realistically can't come back without a lot of aggravation.
Now, when I spoke with Eric, who of course is the commandante of the camp at the moment, and he's here, but he hasn't come out to talk to us.
Well, in all fairness, he has talked to us before.
But he hasn't come out today to talk to us at my request. I'm not sure whether he's being banned from doing so by Marcos, or maybe he's too
Well, he
busy.
says it's his day off.
That's nice. We're here on his day off, but he's here anyway, so why the hell he can't talk to us, I don't know. Except that he doesn't want to talk to us. He doesn't want to engage in a dialogue here.
No, I'm not saying it's not great, but with a couple of
And so he had told me that working people can come and go in a scheduled way. That is to say, if they either have to document it or just tell him if they're working, they can come back late, leave early. The problem that I've heard from Rosemary was that those are the only people who do have that kind of liberty.
Well, I'm glad to hear that that's a possibility, because I had heard that it was very difficult.
Yeah, I think he said that the problem is for most other people who aren't so employed, they are in fact held in very restrictive, some have said here, prison camp models. That's another sign people have, bad model for Santa Cruz prison camp. You found that a little too harsh.
No, I think there's a degree, I would say, in some ways, a prison camp. I wouldn't make it as categorical, but no, I do think that when people are not free to come and go on their own, as long as they're signing in and signing out, I think that has aspects of a prison.
Yeah.
I remember, it makes me think, when I was a chaplain at the federal penitentiary in Atlanta, when I would walk in to the penitentiary, they had a gate. The gate must have been 24 feet long. And when that gate shut, severely confined.
You can hear the clang.
The clang, the movement of it all. This is not the same degree, but it has aspects of that, of the clang of being
Confined.
confined.
Well, what are you're the co-chair of Conscience in Action. What is the next step Conscience in Action may take to address Salvation Army's, what you'd say, certainly its slowness on moving on this?
Well, I think we're just going to try to continue to negotiate with them and put pressure on them. That's what we have to do.
And one time they said because there's no sidewalk right here.
Any particular, I understand there's a protest plan for the Louden Nelson
dangerous
bathrooms
right here because there's
next
no sidewalk.
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Because there was some action at City Council where the council opened up the City Hall bathrooms,
Nothing they say makes
sent the
sense.
issue to the
All the science
CACH
people
committee
Right.
to discuss further, but still reaffirmed the closure of the bathrooms, even though many of us felt there was really inadequate evidence that was required or that was the best solution. You, in fact, have spoken, as have I, with Tony Elliot, the director, and with Carol Scourge, and with Martine Bernal.
Now, that's one of the things that Conscience in Action wants to do is go back and talk to Tony again and see if we can work out some issues that we still think
You
we
tried to
can
talk to him
resolve.
recently, but he hasn't been too
No,
responsive.
not recently. It's been, I'd say, 4 or 5 months since we met with him.
I thought you tried to talk to him, but you called him up and he didn't get back to you.
No.
Oh, you haven't done that. Okay. Well, you know, Tony is a amiable fellow. I found his presentation at City Council somewhat both erroneous and disingenuous, but also he's a nice guy. I'm not denying that. He gave a long presentation while the rest of us were allowed 2 minutes each. I guess
Well, he works for the city and it was understandable. And,
I'm glad you're so generous with him. I'm not. I
How
believe
many
that the public
vacancies
should
do you
have a
have?
significant amount of time to ask questions of the staff and to respond.
well, you know, I agree with that totally. And as you know, Steve Pleitch and I wrote an op-ed piece, not just a letter to the editor, but an op-ed piece suggesting that instead of harassing people, limiting people's ability to talk at city council, that at least once or twice a month they have a town hall meeting at which the public may come and express themselves.
Well, I would like to see it as a regular.
And I was,
Is
and
that two
that's been
vacancies?
ignored.
And here comes Rosemary, who's
Baby.
walking her dog. Maybe the two dogs can meet and greet each other. Who knows? So I think we've been talking about
Philip.
or Felipe. Who goes
Felipe.
south of the border.
Felipe!
A esas personas que
From
hablan
Italy.
español, Felipe,
Bueno, gracias, señor.
placer mío.
So, Robert, they're totally ignoring us and refuse to answer if they have any vacancies. I see 2 vacancies. I said, are those 2 vacancies? And they walked right past me and didn't acknowledge me.
Maybe Ojona needs to talk to them. Ojona, will you talk to them?
Can you ask him about those vacancies?
Juan is, of course, the local pooch who's come to help us.
Poochie, I need to know if those are 2 vacancies right there.
Well, we could ask.
Investigate.
Well, we could sing a song to Eric and invite him to come out.
You can sing a song. I'm not that good at singing.
Oh, Eric, oh, Eric, goddess of 1220 that you are. Come and speak to us, but not
You
from
call him
afar.
goddess. Was that insulting?
I'm not in fine fettle this morning as I could be. But actually, Eric has been quite communicative, as you know, and more, should we say,
Eric! Eric Snickers!
maybe up and
Eric Snickers, can I talk to you?
Knock, knock.
Hey, Eric.
No cameras, no recorders.
He's usually
Are
quite
those 2 vacancies?
communicative, this
I'm not going to
guy.
answer any questions.
Usually helpful.
I don't have a camera.
Why won't you answer? Why do you refuse to
Eric
answer
did
questions?
come out, but he refused to
On
answer
record.
questions
Well, can you
because
meet
of
me
the-
over here on the
Well, then
side?
what's the point of a question or the answer if it's not to be on record? How honest and truthful is the answer
And
if
so
it doesn't
Eric
want to be
did
on
come out,
record?
but he said we're not
Well, he
answering
does
questions
communicate
for
with us by
cameras
phone
or recorder. I come back
and
and
sometimes in personal encounters. He's not
But,
uncommunicative,
you know,
but he
because
just
Eric
chose
was
on this
helpful in the
occasion not
past,
to.
Apparently.
spoken off mic, so to speak, and even occasionally on mic. I did that. I see you're here too, sir. What's your name?
Eric!
Angel.
Angel, your sign says 1220 FEMA River Street, Santa Cruz. What does this mean?
Well, that would, in my opinion, would imply that this place is being run. In my opinion, in the
Eric,
likes of
can I talk to you
you
privately?
know, what you would probably see something FEMA do. I know a little while back.
I'm
this
going
place
to
was
walk away
surrounded
from this.
with barbed wire.
Where can we do that?
The way they regulate people here by
Why don't you just go inside
Want me
and
to
talk?
come in?
Go inside.
I can't do that.
Can you walk up there?
I walk over to the other
enter
side.
and exit when they please. That's holding somebody against their will, in my opinion. And we would like to see that change. We would like to see improvement. Actually, you know, what I would like to see is this whole tent city done away with, and at least tiny homes built for, you know, society that needs it. There's a lot of people that are living unsheltered, and putting torn up band-aids over the situation like this does nothing. We need a solution. We don't need, you know, another band-aid. And it's me, Angel, from the Santa Cruz 11.
Thank you. From one Santa Cruz 11 night to another.
Likewise, thank you.
I'm actually wearing a T-shirt which says something
yeah,
about to that effect.
that.
The old Santa Cruz 11. That was a group of people that were dragged through the courts for an occupation of the River Street Bank, which was vacant in December of 2011, and then occupied by a relatively sizable contingent of people. None of the organizers, however, maybe one, was ever prosecuted. Instead, they picked up all the activists and accused them of criminal activity.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. You know, and I even remember seeing a few city council members in the building too.
And the city manager.
Yeah, and you know, nothing happened for that. We're not saying that it should. I'm just trying to point out the difference in this elected prosecution that they, you know, implement towards activists, especially.
Yeah, sure. Or hang 'em high, as some would say. But that's, I guess, for the Westerns. You, sir, you have a sign that says grateful for the Salvation Army, but they must do more. What's your name?
This is a sign designed by co-founder of CACH, Rabbi Philip Posner.
The sellout Phil, as
This
they
is what
sometimes
he
call him.
wishes to say.
I see. Well, why are you backing this wimpy solution?
I was asked by an unknown entity to fill in the words on this sign, so I did so.
And some of them I see, but not all.
You want to know my own feelings?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think the Salvation Army is filling a gap, which helps the city, probably helps the community, but there are noticeable privations for the residents here, and I wish that they would definitely have more freedom to have visitors when they want them and under the conditions that they prefer. I certainly support that. And I wish anybody could just walk out at any time, not with arbitrary approval, but with definite approval. They can just walk down the sidewalk, because although they say it's not safe, I'm looking at it right now. There's about 50 yards of gravel, which is level, sand, which is level and safe. And then there's a little gap of 10 feet, and then there commences a huge orthodox concrete sidewalk. So that looks totally safe to walk out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I see folks are coming and going by bike, which is good. How's it going? All right. So, yeah, I mean, I notice we have at least, looks like 15 to 20 feet between the roadway and then there's a bike lane and the actual fenced area, which certainly provides for a car to park, and, you know, not just for safety. And I noticed they put up no parking signs as well that they put up along here. Perhaps some of that is because of the rather extensive amount of money being used for security and staffing here, which we haven't really emphasized, but that's a concern of at least some of our members.
What's the question about security?
Well, I mean, I was just making an observation. Well, that the concern that some have is that people can take care of themselves the volunteers can address this issue rather than large amounts of money being used to, say, go to this campground rather than to other homeless services.
Well, I think we ought to point out this camp does, I believe, search people to see if they're bringing drugs in here. Is that right?
I don't know if they do or they don't. Does anybody have any information, Angel? Are they actually searching people now? I haven't noticed anybody being searched as they come in.
Are they searching people? That I don't know if they're doing that anymore. But you know, in reality, I'm quite surprised that they haven't made. Jokingly or not, but people tattoo numbers on their arms, like they did back in the concentration camp.
That would make it easier,
Wouldn't it? Yeah, just keep track of people.
Yeah, I just want to return to that. I think there are probably a lot of precautions inside this camp that people do not use, really harmful drugs. They probably are precautions, but there's maybe also some flexibility. That's also really important of that. So if people are using drugs that overexcite them, they methamphetamine.
This is a shuttle, the
There
van.
could be security problems.
Come scoot this far over so you can swing open the gate.
Quarrels between individuals. So self-policing is the ideal. Self-policing by the residents, and they're forming a committee of 5 or 10, and that's great. Maybe that'll resolve that. But meantime, the security do have to intervene, they say, at times.
Well, I know that the Ross camp, which had 3 or 4 times as many people, and didn't have a fence and didn't have security guards, generally speaking, did not have, other than drug use, and possibly there was a lot of claims that there was, chop shops and bicycle parts being traded there that were stolen, but
I'm pretty sure there were.
yeah, that's fine for some of them, but there's also for a larger number of people, they were sheltered there.
Yeah, they
and
felt
that's
more
the issue to
secure
me.
there.
Yeah.
They felt more secure.
So they didn't need security guards unless you want to go after property crime and drug use, which I think is very low priority in the issue of public safety.
I agree. The internal relations between participants in that Ross camp were pretty darn good. I went down there on numerous occasions, and people seemed comfortable with the way it was.
And of course, Ross camp was dispersed with no adequate shelter other than this thing, which only serves
60 out of 200?
60 out of 150 to 250, and it clearly put a lot of people out of lodging and possibly into danger, both from other people who are either equally needy or equally greedy, and rangers and cops who are training the rookies on what to do with people that, shall we say, bigoted neighbors don't want in their neighborhood. And there's lots of laws that police can use to address that, which have nothing to do with human rights, in fact are contrary to human rights. Anything else, Nick?
No, that's about it for me.
Okay. You're holding up a sign, Miss. What does that sign say? When we talk, ask us questions, light, and looks like a peace sign to me.
Oh, what a beautiful
What's your
sign.
business here, madam?
Oh, it's pretty.
This is the living in harmony, but
That sounds like a movie to me.
what wisdom is, so you know what your purpose is, so that you can get something done with these powers that be that think they're gonna, tell you what to do.
The powers that be tend to sting, kind of like buzz, buzz, and all that sort of thing. So you live up the way,
Which way?
that way.
Walk this way.
No, I'm going to stand here and talk to you.
Yeah, I'm a neighbor. I live at the tannery.
The tannery.
We have been down here when it was another kind of camp, or I guess it wasn't run by the
That's last year.
Salvation Army.
It was a city-run camp.
When they allowed volunteers to come in and serve meals. I don't know the situation anymore here.
I think it's primarily a staffing problem now, but that does in fact impact the accessibility of the people in the camp to that kind of help.
What kind of help?
Meals from people in the community.
And is there any goal with this protests other than let the public be aware, or we get to talk?
Yeah, we actually have a flyer we're putting out, which is posted online. It's called Restoring Privacy, Decency, and Accessibility reforms for survival campgrounds. I'll give you one of these flyers. You can.
Probably after I'm ready, so that doesn't blow away.
Good idea. Well, you grab me before I leave, which will be pretty soon.
You'll be talking to the tramp.
I think Alicia has already had the chat with Eric. Well, no, he's not coming today. That's Marcos. And I don't even know if he's certainly not the head of the entire organization, but he is the local boss over Eric Snickars, who's the local boss at the camp here.
Yeah, I think privacy is important for all that are here. If they're watched like they're in jail, then why not call it, just a prison for homeless?
And we've been talking with? Anyone want to add, Corey?
I hope we can continue, have frequent showings here so people know that there's public care and that are watching what's happening with their money.
It's a tough one.
Sounds unlikely, but I'm sure the CACH committee will catch it all.
Get
If
in the
Susie
car,
O'Hara
hanging
lets,
out like that.
since she's running the whole thing.
Girlies
And,
do.
Again, we've been talking.
Pleasure.
to
Whole body's
Before
like
we-
dangling out
Thank
the
you.
door.
Free radio.
Free radio. So, did you get a copy of the poster over there, the placard thing?
No.
Well, you should.
All right. You might need to give me the tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You want to give a report?
So,
not just to you.
So he'll never talk to us again? Yes!
You know, he views us as
Is that what happened?
outsiders, so he wasn't very excited about us coming.
He called me an outsider.
Us coming in and talking to people about becoming a part of
Which I didn't hear
the
about.
council. But then he suggested that if you bring food, you'll meet people.
That way you can talk
so
to
on Saturday,
everyone.
instead of my going around with bagels and bikes and all that stuff downtown the way
But I told
Louise and I
Rabbi
usually
Phil,
do,
Anthony
we'll come
would disagree
here
with this,
with our bagels
because
and
we are not
bikes and cream cheese and
We're the
peanut butter.
homeless union,
as
and we have a
Eric
right
says,
to
we'll
come
talk.
in with or without food.
Well, remember, you
And he
can,
suggested that.
there you go.
you can also
the
come
heck
here
out.
to visit anyone you want, like Greg.
I don't have
But
to
then,
drive you to
there's
I have a right.
but you have to understand the intention. We have to be able to slide in there. If we did it straight and direct,
I'm
that
so
would be
tired
offensive.
of this dog and
Or to make a
pony show.
presentation.
I am like a
mean
no BS.
individually
I don't
or
have
as a
the
group?
patience for some of this
Well, it's
stuff.
gonna have
I don't blame you.
That goes on.
Yeah, no. Well, because what kind of cycle are we doing? We placating, so then that way. Oh, sorry, time ran out. Get out.
Yeah, I just don't have the
You walk
patience.
in here, and if you're on their list,
I mean, my
say, I wanna
BS
see
meter
Greg.
is like it's like this big anymore.
Been here and they never said.
I think the people have pushed it. People have drained the meter from being able to be filled.
Yeah, if I had any leeway, it's gone
Try it right now.
forever.
They always say
Like I'm
it's done
so
here.
over all this.
But anyway, he
I
did
still have
make
a sense of
suggestion
humor,
that
but I have no BS meter at all.
Right? Well, it's about time to nip this in the bud.
I think you can try it right now and see what
You saw this morning. Sacramento is now doing a little bit of inclusion. I almost wanted to say 180, but I doubt it. To where they're gonna
Yeah, I
allow.
saw some shit this morning. I'm like, what's going on
Hey, you
here?
remember that Modesto? Modesto had a bunch of tents under the freeway,
Yeah, they were
and
burnt.
that's but that's kind of the working model they're looking at. Transitional
It
encampments.
still looks like FEMA though.
Well, it's qualification. Like you said, property crime and drug use. So those are low priorities.
And I'm really getting tired of people thinking that just because you are facing poverty or involved in a poverty situation that you're untrustworthy, you're not a human, you don't deserve to be treated like everyone else. I'm sorry I don't make as much money as, person standing next to me. It's like, I feel like if you lined us all up, line me up with, 6 or 7 of these other females, we are all the same. Do not treat me any less or any less trustworthy or any more of this or that. It's not fair. I'm really tired of it.
Discrimination by pocketbook. The real color of discrimination is green. If you got it, if you don't, this whole religion of spending money is
Ladies
absurd.
acting like they're so much better than me. Oh, I'm great. Your husband makes $60 an hour. Bite me. That doesn't mean I don't count.
Right. Well, now that you got $60 an hour and you ain't gonna spend all that in your life, how are you helping other people? Because if you just spend it on yourself, well, then you're a
remodeling
self-centered
their
little
houses
prick.
and calling cops on the less fortunate. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's always the answer. It's always
Do you know or you think?
Oh gosh.
Well, he does run around, so we got to find somebody else.
That's the guy that I've been told drinks on the job.
No, So the guy with the black bike and everyone else who's been manning the doors, I guess volunteer than staff.
Staff, like the one with the long hair.
Yeah, they do with a black shirt.
Staff,
And
paid
the
person.
The gray long hair ponytail.
All
And then
these
there's
people
another
are
dude
standing
with
around
a-
getting money. They're all paid.
Right, yeah, to do what?
Well,
to
people
babysit.
are like barely even in a tent right now.
Well,
like, nobody's even here.
we can't trust you.
We got
so
we got 5 paid staff members to stand over a bunch of empty tents right now,
that's gonna change soon.
and they're raking up the majority of the monthly budget on this is going into their
To
pockets.
staff, yeah.
No one is
So
listening
you
to
can-
me
so
either.
people can
Somehow they've
overload.
justified this, and I've come up with a billion other ways that it could be done cheaper, more effective, with more dignity, and they're not listening.
That would require changing their policy. And the first most policy is these little people don't count. These little people are here to be herded like cats. And every single one of them are gonna pee outside their litter box, so we gotta give them a consequence.
But they don't have much of a litter box. and
Okay,
they don't
Gloria's
have
the head
showers.
witch.
Yeah, they don't have showers. They haven't had showers the whole time.
4 months.
4 months of no showers. You get pretty
Rosemary
they
said
should
she
at
hasn't
least-
had a shower in 4 months.
They should at least have those the bags.
Yeah, I know. That's just what it sounds like. And what else was it? Well, they don't have decent
4
drinking
months.
water.
They haven't had a shower
They've been
in
talking
4
now
months.
about getting barrels.
They're using the cooler, and the cooler sets out with no shade. It's gross.
Well, there's talk about getting
The
from
water in that pot will
company.
probably taste better than the water
Yeah.
in that barrel over
You're
there.
gonna get these big barrels and get water. How are they gonna keep it from getting dirty or contaminated? I don't know. It's just air. And food. They don't really have, unless it can't spoil, they don't have a decent refrigerator.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, they have no power out here at all.
Well, I think they have some sort of power for
Oh,
their
this
computers.
can is actually for them to live in, right? I mean, this is the staff office in this can.
And they have, of course, they have something for their computers, their laptops, and their charging. They can charge phones, but they don't have security for that, even though they don't have security anymore. No, first of all.
And you know
Did
that
they
Jeff,
quit?
I don't know, but the guy Jeffy, I joke around with him, Jeff, the guy that called the cops on me over there for bringing water, and he sat here smirking because he was the guy at the guard here. He got arrested not too long ago.
Oh, wow.
It was all over Santa Cruz mugshot. So he's finally getting a taste of how it really is around here. He also came out in the Sentinel with an article that says that he's firsthand been the victim of racism here in Santa Cruz and racial profiling. He wrote a letter to the Sentinel about that. So I think that he started out thinking, oh, I'm going to join forces and be a big guy. I'm going to be like that. Screw these homeless people. And now he actually realizes, Eric, or
He's gonna
Jeffy,
get run over the whole time.
you're brown, Jeffy. You're one of us.
There you go. Yeah, you're
And
always
now
gonna
he's
go.
starting to realize what it's really like around here and change his mind.
Yeah. I guess the KKK don't wear sheets around here.
Right.
They go in the sky.
See, Jeffy,
Oh, they
what you
just stay
didn't know is
silent.
though, even though you have a job, Jeffy,
scary.
you're still one of us because you're brown. I hate to break it to you, bud.
Well, that's the in Salinas. There's a big issue with Mexicans. Mexicans being for Trump.
Thank you so much.
So are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know where you're heading with that one.
Middle of all of that.
So usually, I said, may I speak to Fred? So I said, the first thing I said, what I would do is, regardless of whether or not there's a great deal to go into the office, and then come back out, you're on the list, it's all good. If not, then it's not.
I was on the list. Sort of.
who does not want to be recorded. So what did you learn?
Well, I learned that the reason we could not see someone today or now is because they consider this a protest, and the authorities have been told that they're not supposed to talk to us because it's a protest. However, at any other time, if we ask for somebody who we're on their list, that
You can't talk to people during a protest?
it will likely say, let me go check to see if he's here, meaning he's a resident and or he's in the camp, and I'll come back to you in 2 minutes. And I said to him that I thought that that was legitimate. What I objected to in the first case was being ignored.
Where the heck is Greg?
I think also that to suddenly to have this sort of barricade, to claim that if there's a protest going on, individuals can't visit. This punishes the protesters and punishes visitors.
Right, where we are.
Because they've been
protesting is not
brainwashed to think that
a
this is
usual
a good
thing,
thing
but
for them.
still,
and that the Salvation Army is doing
that's a kind of
everything they
a
can.
violation of the First Amendment out here as well.
And they're afraid
so
to
that
get
would
kicked
concern
out.
me. And also, Eric is unusually, I think, accommodating to activists. I think he has some sympathies with us, but I also think that that is not the case necessarily for his staff when he's not here.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't know. I'm just speculating. Thank you. We've been talking.
You're probably right. That is a legitimate speculation. Been talking to Phil Postman.
Thanks, Phil. Well, okay.